Well, we are here at the World Finals today in Korea with the stage behind us. I'm joined right now by John to talk about some unusual information, some unfortunate information for what is occurring here. Strange to talk about this on the finals day, but as everything's breaking and everything's hitting, we're going to talk about this and release it as news breaks. But John, can you talk a little bit about what is happening? Because obviously there's been some news out there about two teams potentially leaving the league.
Yeah, so yesterday we terminated our TPA agreement with two teams, Golden Guardians and Evil Geniuses, and settled with them. So they will not be competing in the LCS next year.
All right, and we should say yesterday as we're filming this.
Yes.
Yes, okay. So why did this end up happening?
Yeah, so basically, Golden Guardians, their owner, the Golden State Warriors, they've decided they want to focus their business on basketball, and they wanted to exit. And I think Evil Geniuses' struggles is pretty well documented in the public already. So yeah, we hustled over the last 2 weeks to terminate our TPA with them, so that hopefully the players on those teams would find other homes in free agency.
So I think a lot of people are going to hear that and sort of, be a little skeptical that something like that can happen given the way free agency works, so many verbal commitments. Obviously, this is well covered by many different journalists and out there in terms of what players are going where. In some ways, as this news hits, a lot of free agency is already solved. So, was there any chance of getting this news out earlier? Or how
No.
did? Yeah, what was the timeline like?
We became aware of some issues a couple weeks ago, and just really rallied the team during Worlds to try to help the teams out and try to help the players out before free agency. So there really was no opportunity to do this earlier.
What are the ramifications of this for the LCS? Because I think a lot of fans are going to hear this, and there's already a lot of doom and gloom out there. What should fans take away from this news?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think this actually strengthens the LCS. We want teams who want to be in esports, who want to be competing in the LCS, who are committed to fielding the best teams that they can. So we feel with this move, we have helped the teams exiting. We have helped the players try to relocate and try to find other teams. And I think next year we're going to have 8 teams in the league who really want to compete.
So why not use the offseason as an opportunity to try to fill these 2 team slots or to create some sort of promotion opportunity for the teams that compete?
Yeah, there's just not enough time, honestly.
Is there a consideration, if the only constraint right now is time, is there a consideration to expand the league again next year or create some sort of promotion opportunity?
We are looking at a number of different options for the LCS right now. We will spend the next 2 or 3 months figuring out where we're going with the LCS beyond 2024.
And looking at the other regions, should any other teams or other regions be concerned that we could see the number of teams in their leagues go down?
I mean, I think the environment's pretty dynamic right now. I don't want to say never. We are constantly thinking of ways to make our ecosystem better. This is the only move that we're planning to do before year end, but we are constantly looking at different ways that we can make our leagues better.
I think a lot of people are going to be discussing whether or not we saw with the LCS something similar to what we saw in Overwatch League recently, where it was discussed and reported that teams were getting essentially bought back by Activision Blizzard, or they were being paid for this. Is that something you can discuss at this time?
It's a different situation. We simply settled and terminated their partnership agreement. So it's not like we bought back slots that we're going to try to market for other new teams. We just terminated, and now we're just evaluating different options for the future of the LCS. But we are, I should reiterate, we are super committed to North American esports and to the LCS. So the different options we're thinking about are options that are only better for the LCS.
So it doesn't sound like there was a monetary transaction where Riot went to these teams and said, like, hey, we will offer you X amount of dollars if you want to exit the league.
We're not disclosing terms.
Okay. So going into next year, obviously this has format implications. Yeah. The league runs around the idea of 10 teams. Now we have 8. What does this mean for next year?
It's also an evaluation. This happened so fast. The team is thinking about what format's going to be best for this next year. We haven't landed that yet, but I think by the end of this year, we'll know.
So between Academy going not completely away, but I think we saw about 8 teams drop their Academy teams this year. We now have 2 teams in the league that have left as well. So if you look at from like league-supported player positions, we're down about 50% year over year. Are there any plans or ways that the league is hoping to support talent, especially in this region, now that there's just, quite frankly, a lot less positions for those players to compete in?
Look, I think there's still a lot of opportunity for new players to find homes, to build a career in North America in the LCS. So the NACL is still continuing. There is a pathway there. So I feel like there's still a lot of opportunity. Yes, there are less teams now, but I think we still have a lot of opportunity to offer new players.
Is there any hopes that we'll be able to grow back some of the opportunities that have been lost?
Could be. Again, it's a very dynamic situation right now with the ecosystem at large. So we've got a lot of plans in flight, and we'll see where all that lands. Nothing to announce now.
So just a quick edit here, because as I was packing up, realized I had forgotten to ask John a question that was very important. But there was a little bit of a rumor that maybe multiple teams had accepted this besides EG and Golden Guardians. Obviously, when talking to you just now, I learned that Golden Guardians sort of initiated this process, but how did things flow from there?
Well, first of all, Golden Guardians didn't initiate the process. We were reacting to a situation with both teams. But the way our partnership agreement works is when we offer one team something, like terminating and settling out their partnership agreement, we have to offer it to all teams. We did that. We offered it to all 10 teams. Only Evil Geniuses and Golden Guardians accepted our offer. The other 8 teams reaffirmed their commitment to the LCS. So half the teams did not take up the offer. Okay. Only the 2 did.
Only the 2. All right. Thank you very much for the clarification.
Yeah, no worries.
Well, I know I love to have these longer sit-downs with you.
Yeah,
clearly, we're standing ahead of finals happening, and so we kind of squeezed this in last minute here. But I am hopeful that we'll be able to chat more as next year comes on the horizon and more things could pop up with the LCS.
Pretty sure we'll be chatting in February, March timeframe.
All right, fantastic. Well, thank you so much for the interview. Obviously, I will have a lot to talk about on this as everything continues, so folks can stay tuned here. But John, anything you want to say to any of the folks out there, especially the LCS folks who are looking at this news and perhaps being concerned about the future of the league?
I will just keep reiterating, we are committed to the LCS. We are committed to North American esports for League of Legends, and we are only trying to make the league stronger and our presence stronger here in North America.
Thank you so much for the interview. For everyone else,
thank you, Travis.
You can check out the rest of my coverage of all things Worlds, LCS, and more right here on my channel. Thanks so much for watching that piece of content, whether it's an interview or something else. I couldn't be here at Worlds without you because I don't have a sponsor. So literally I couldn't be here without you, because if you didn't watch it, I would have no reason to be over here other than for my own enjoyment, and then I wouldn't be making content. I'd probably just not be uploading stuff into the void. So if you have any interest in supporting this content, you can click the link in the description below. There's a link tree there with a bunch of different ways to support me. And maybe if you don't want to do so financially, or you can't, you can watch another video on the channel. You can subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram or one of these other platforms, so that whenever I go to sponsors, I have bigger numbers. They like big numbers. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Catch you later.